In this journey with the Lord, now that I done took it serious, like going all in, I never expected it to be a cure-all, like it was going to just be one day, everything perfect. Not at all. Now, I'm working on my issues like I should, like any man, any woman should. But in this walk, it get trying. The attacks really get serious and direct. I'm smoking a black. That's my partial enjoyment. Now that I'm not smoking weed, not drinking no alcohol, put down that lifestyle of death. You know, it still ain't as healthy as it could be, but let me get this camera right. Back to the subject. Now that I've dedicated and committed to go all in this walk with Yeshua, Jesus, seems like things just going full-fledged against my household, against my family. Things that didn't really bother me seem to be coming to bother me, you know. Cleanliness is a big part of it. And not just cleanliness physically, but the cleanliness of my family, of my seed. There's so much out here that's distracting the youth and breaking they focus. Their focus is now on instant gratification. There was a roach right there. I had to get that thing to scurry. You know, you see distractions, you know. Things I would never have noticed before. Like that roach, I probably would never have noticed it before. In the dark. You know, my vision has gotten more precise. Not just physically. Perfect example. God uses everything. And that shows his splendor. That shows his majesty. It shows his great knowing. You know, and once you hand over your will to him so he can make his will yours, these things start happening. It's like God hits, as one of my confidants told me. These are God hits. Instead of a drug hit, you got a God hit. And it enhances your spirit, man. It enhances your consciousness, what you were once unconscious to, that you didn't see. He allows you to see. He opens your eyes, takes the veil off your eyes. And I'm seeing that with my children, especially my son, that this music, this rap music to be exact, has got him in a phase, so to speak, or a trance, to where he think he could throw up fours and throw up middle fingers, and you know, he living that life, when really he ain't living that life, and never has to, because other males and people in his family have lived that life for him. We've done what he don't have to do. He can look at our lives and see that example. The example of what not to do. And if he uses us as a reference, and as I shall continue to teach him, the reference of our bad decisions should show you which direction to go in, and we shall continue to guide you. But me as his father, I definitely will guide him. I'm outside right now, so if y'all hear the traffic, I'm on my patio, and that's why you hear that noise. This reference I'm talking about is my street life, my experience, my peddling, my dealings in the street, my bad decisions. And it seems like, okay, you know, everybody wants to be the bad guy because the nice guy finishes last. But to finish last, as it says in the word, the first shall be last and the last shall be first. The good guys are going to be first. They're going to be the first ones that we see prospering. If you're living in that wrong lifestyle, if you're living in this death style, peddling drugs out here, you know, just doing things for the heck of it. And I'm trying to get him to understand that every word choice that he uses, it manifests something. That's why they call it spelling. That's why they, you know, that's why they call it spelling. Because when you speak, you are casting something out there. And when you cast a fishing rod, what you got to do? You got to pull something back. whether you like what you pull back or not. And we definitely have to get our youth back into the faith, because they out here running wild, man. And the younger ones, from like 5 on up to about the teenage years, the preteens, if the fathers ain't around, because it seems like mostly in the colored community, it's colored by ethnic, black and brown. The men are either in prison, jails, dead, or in institutions like crazy houses, hospitals, and the mothers are with the brunt of raising these children. And every moment that I am in his life, whether it have to be on FaceTime, through a phone call, IG, Facebook, my impact or my imprint need to be a positive one, even if he don't like it at the moment. I gotta water that seed, because I brought him in this world. He didn't choose to be here. He didn't get here on his own. It was me and his mama, and I planted the seed in fertile ground. So now it's time to plant a seed in that fertile ground that's being malleable and manipulated and molded by this society's image of what a black man or a man should be. And you ain't gotta be, and you know what being hard is? It ain't selling no drugs or having no gun. What being hard is standing on your convictions, standing on your faith, and being the man that you know you should be. Making the right choices in the hard places. And making the right choices ain't always easy. It ain't always smooth. Sometimes, and most times, you're going to stand alone. But what leader don't stand alone? What captain don't go in first before his soldiers or before his crew or before the regime to make sure that the land is fit to take? And I'm making sure the land is fit to take. And I'm teaching him as a young man, as a young brother coming up, you got to be the standard for all those who choose to follow. Now, you're either going to follow the right way or the wrong way. And the right way is a narrow path for sure. Everybody don't want to go through that way because they know that they got to fine-tune themselves. They see that they have to refine themselves. Everybody want to work out their body and get that cut, but are you really willing to go through that pain that the body has to go through? Are you willing to sacrifice them sugars? Are you willing to sacrifice them sweets or them candies and eat what you really need to eat? Get what's really going to edify you and build that muscle and keep you sustained and give you that stamina. Because anybody can look good, but can you do good? Matter of fact, bump being good. Bump that shit. How about being great? Because good ain't enough. Good ain't good enough. If you ever heard that, good ain't good enough. And what God called us to be, he said, focus on the good, focus on the pure. But God is great, and we making his image. So that means we can be great, only if we work at it. And we work at it the way he has instructed us and showed us. And most of his instruction is a showing. Once you walk in this path, as I'm seeing, you ain't always got to say something. People can see that light on you. That means you showing that light. It's coming from the inside out. Once you about a certain pathway, it goes in your mindset. And once that mindset is set and firm and you steadfast in it, it starts to show in your speech and show in your mannerisms. And I don't want him out here thinking that he got to be the next little baby, or he got to, not saying there's something wrong with little baby, but what he pushing for the most part is not life-bringing. You got to really be deciphering in a man or a person of wisdom to see where the life is at and the words that he's speaking, the life that he lived. Now, if you're just a youth, you just see face value. You see the jewels, you see the cars, you see the girls, you see the show that's put on by the production company. You're not really seeing the character. You're not really seeing the man or who baby is as the man. And the whole point of this is for us to raise men, real soldiers out here. Because when the lights is off, when the cameras is off, and the jewels are off, and the women are gone, what kind of character do you have? Do you have integrity? Is you really standing on something that is a foundation? Because this jewelry goes, The hoes go, the cars need to be gassed up. But what do you have in you that keep you gassed up? And it got to be more than that za. Because nowadays, that za is sending folks to an early grave. Nowadays, this rap music is like the crack. It sent them to the early grave. They making a check off of y'all going to jail, off of y'all buying the dope, off of y'all spending the money on these women who ain't got no type of thought. And I mean the women who is lost in the facade, in the grid, in the matrix. They ain't standing on no true word. They standing on man's wisdom. And man's wisdom is foolishness when it comes to God. Yes, it's beauty in all forms. It's beauty in the art. But at the same time, you have to see past what they are feeding you and see what is the meat and bones of it. Don't just take the flesh. Don't just take what's on the surface. It's like eating a Dunkin' Donut and you think that's going to get you fit. No, it's going to get you puffy, but it ain't going to get you fit. And we need more brothers who going to stand up to the plate and show that the way we live for the majority of our life, if we was out in the streets, if we was out there doing wrong, it ain't right. We can't just keep pushing it out there to them and say, yeah, do this and do that, and not tell them what the consequences is and show them what the consequences is. That's what the wild seed is. The wild seed is that word, that faith. When you plant that, you got to water it, or they really going to be out here running wild. It's an acronym. Will I live dignified so everyone else does? Because we warriors in this life, and even in death. And before we die, we need to be showing them and making the right imprint so they don't be following and running into a burning house. Like Martin Luther King said. You don't want to lead somebody into a burning house and you ain't told them the way to get out or show them how to rebuild. And that's what this life is about. That's what it is about when we have these seeds. It ain't about us no more. It's about what we leaving for them. What's the legacy? And we got to have faith, because the faith is so gone. They got faith in the material, and the material always, it don't last. It always go quick. So we need to be feeding them and watering what lasts, which is the thought power, which is the willpower, which is emotional intelligence. If you with this, if you down with what I'm saying, then go ahead, like, share, and subscribe, because this is more what we need. And unfortunately, the algorithm ain't pushing the truth. You either gotta have a big platform or it ain't pushing. So we need to push this right here. Let's get our young brothers right. Let's really get them soldier minds and get them in the soldier stance. So they ain't got to be out here sagging their pants and wearing masks and looking like criminals, because they ain't looking like soldiers. And they ain't acting like soldiers. They out here looking at the wrong folks for guidance, looking at the TV screen. And if they going to look at the television, let's give them a real vision. No lie. Don't give them no conversation. Let's give them truth conversation. Feel what I'm saying, man. And it's just like that, straight up. We ain't with that punk shit, and we ain't with no fuck shit and no nigga shit. We on some real grown man type of time. Let's get it. Don't stop. Keep going.